Assalamu alaikum. صباح الخير. كيف حالكم؟ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه هو خير الناصر ومعين. My dears, who can remember that Miss Razan talks about which habit on last Monday? Raise your hand, my dear. I need
Big rocks.
big rocks. Ahsan. I said which habit? You're right, big rocks.
Habit 2.
Habit,
2.
which is?
Yeah. First things first.
Good.
Habit
First
three.
thing first, which is the habit number 3, my dear. If you remember, my dear, that your friends did some jar and they put some rice as the, for example, which is not job, which is not important. After that, they put what? Big rock on it. And you know that when you put a lot of the unnecessary thing in the jar, after that you put the what? The big rock, it doesn't fit. But if you want, first put the big rock, after that the what? Put unnecessary thing in the jar, it will what? Fit, right, my dear?
Yes.
Which is the one means what? Put first thing first. Which means, my dear, you have to what? In your daily life, do first of all the most important things, right, my dears? As the big rock, right? So, according to the Quran and Islam, my dear, the most important things, the first important things in our daily life is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always we have to what? Consider in your mind what? Allah is the first, my dear. By remembering Him. By always believe that He is watching us, He is listening to us, and He will judge us on the day of judgment, my dear. That's why, my dear, one of the name of Allah is, which we just did in the 90 name of Allah, is Huwa al-Awwal. What does Awwal means? First, Ahsant. MashaAllah. Huwa al-Awwal. This is also mentioned in the Surah Hadid, my dear. In the, I think, ayah number 5. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Huwa al-Awwal wal-Akhir. Means, Allah who is the first and last. Ahsantum, mashallah. So, one of the name of Allah is what? Awwal, al-Awwal. Al-Awwal means the first. First we have the what? The most important thing which we consider, my dear, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my dear. That's why it is highly recommended in the beginning of any job, any duties, we should say what? Louder. You're right. Together, my dear. Bismillah ar-Rahman Even before what? Before you go to the bed, before study, before doing your homework, before enter to the class, before drinking water, before eat the food, always what? Say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, my dear. Which means, my dear, that most of us knows that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim means in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. But there is something is here is what is dropped. What does mean in the beginning, in the name of Allah? Our ulama says, my dear, in the name of Allah, it means what? I begin my job, my work in the name of Allah. Do you understand, my dear? I begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim means what? I begin my work in the name of Allah. Do you understand? So it means what? Always we have to what? Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the beginning of every what? Job. Not only in the beginning, in the middle, in the end. When you ask, Allah says, هو الأول والآخر. Start your day, my dear. When you wake up in the early morning, say what? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Beginning. In the end, when you go to the sleep, before we go to the what? To the bed, say what? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This, when you mention and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, my dear, and shower you with His mercy, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you so much for listening and for being attention. Jazakumullah khairan.